Okay, so now we've created our surface. We have a proposed terrain model here, but as we kind of showed before, we've got some funky triangulation here we want to clean up, and we can mess with the slivers and max edge length, but it's really the right way to do it is to add some additional features here. So to do that, we can use, if we're in our terrain tab here, this add and remove features. So, and it gives us the same options as when we created from elements. So it'll ask us what terrain model, I want to use this one, and we can add any of these pieces. We can add additional break lines, contours, to add information into it. We just like we added these feature lines that we created, we could add, I don't really need any with the layout I have here, but one method we used was to take existing 2D line work and assign it elevations. I can also just draw lines in this 3D view. It's already kind of triangulated this corner, but if I wanted to, I can draw just a 3D element and add that as a feature. So I think typically when I do it, I have kind of these baselines from 2D line work and then can fill in the gaps using those features. This one I don't really need to, but it's an option. I can remove features. So here I can show, maybe we don't actually want to grade this slope, so I can select this element to remove. I can reset, and it doesn't delete the element, but it removes it from the surface. So, and that, I didn't have to delete and recreate the surface, it just made an update. I can add a, so say we don't actually want to have our surface triangulate inside here. Maybe we just want it to be a void. So we can do that through adding a feature. So, and I have drawn kind of that void area we want. It's a 3D element, so I can say add features. I want this this terrain model. I want it to create a void, so add the element. I'll select this. I've done it. Highlights it. Reset when done. I want it to be a void, and now that adds it as kind of like an internal boundary of void area. And then the last piece we can add is a boundary. I've drawn the boundary around the exact edge I want. So now I don't care about the slivers or the edge length. I'm telling it exactly where to triangulate. This will always get you the most clean outside edge and boundary. So I can add the same as I added the void. I want a boundary, make sure it's looking at the right terrain model. Locate my element to add, select the right thing. Process as a boundary. Oops, I think I clicked too many things there. But this is how you would do it. So that should create the boundary. I think there's too many overlapping items there, but it would cut out the edge there. And now the same thing. It's still a 3D surface. It shows up in our cross sections correctly. We can. It's dynamic too. So if this void changed, I can resize this shape. Again, that might get a little hairy with data, but it'll all update kind of automatically. And we can, using these tools, refine our shapes. So I would say looking at the list, break lines is a big one, and then the void and the boundary are pretty the three main tools you can use or will use to do these things. Another piece, especially when you're working with surfaces not from a corridor, I'll point out is that it's always nice to not necessarily have to like display all the triangles or the contours all the time. So one piece I'll point out is up here, you have your project explorer, which is kind of an old tool here that pops up, and it'll show all the data inside these DGN files, and all the train models will show up here. So you can do, if I don't want to do from the window, here's my train model, I can right click and use all the same tools straight from here. So I don't have to go searching and finding. If I'm importing a surface or someone's giving me a surface, I don't really know where it is, or it's displayed like I want it, I can do anything I want from this Project Explorer, which I find is a nice tool to keep them organized and in a list view instead of just the plan. So that kind of covers how we can edit these surfaces and really refine them to be exactly what we need them to be. So with that, I'll